I was gonna say I've never done that before.
And welcome everybody back to the brand new episode of the Lando Project. I am your host, Lando Payne. We're so glad you're joining us again for the second time today. We had some audio issues. Hopefully, we're getting it fixed. As always, I am joined with my lovely and wonderful compatriots. You've met them earlier today. And I'm talking about the beautiful Lilah and the not so beautiful B to the C.
I am fucking Freddy. That is true. That is the most true story that has ever been told of true stories. BC is pretty true story.
How beautiful BC? How's the audio sounding? Are we good?
I don't know. I gotta catch up. So you two talk to each other.
Oh, okay. Well, Lilah, how are you?
So I'm good, but it's only you showing right now.
Nope, still being weird.
Oh,
Still echo.
Still.
It's better though. It's a better echo.
There we go.
I also feel like it's really like on YouTube.
Maybe I gotta lower this. How about now?
I don't know. I will have to go and check.
Technical difficulties.
You could never beat the echo allegations.
Oh.
I also feel like it's really like on YouTube.
Yeah?
Ooh, I sound good.
Lilah's good.
You sound good? Am I there?
I do.
I don't know. I'll have to go and check. There is still a very, very vague echo on me. However, Lilah sounds fantastic.
Okay. I think we're better. I think we're getting better here. Yeah, maybe, possibly.
It's better. So
Nigel says you're epic, BC. So.
And you can only see me, Lilah?
Oh, thanks, Nigel.
Not anymore. Now
Okay.
I think I can see. Yeah, I can see all of us now.
Okay. That's good. I think we're good to go. All right. So, yes, everybody, sorry for the technical difficulties. We're going to continue through this. Yes, we've had some wonderful, fantastic movie news that have dropped over the past week, and that's what we're breaking down on the... I'm still hearing echoes. Wait, is there an echo?
Yeah, there's still an echo on me.
Why is it just on you?
I don't know.
BC. I think I found it. I think I conquered it. I think we're good.
Do you?
I really feel good about it.
You know what? I feel good about it too. And I'm gonna go check it out right here. So once again,
I feel as good about our audio ecosystem as I'm sure Warner Brothers does feel about this Flash movie coming out. Because, as we're going to jump right into it, we did get a lot of movie news, and one of the things that did come out of this past week was the sorry, I'm just still hearing the echo. I'm hearing YouTube, BC's YouTube clip.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
You can? It might be me.
I was going to say, it honestly might be your mic, BC.
Yeah, what are you using for a mic?
It's supposed to be this.
Do you have a microphone?
Yeah.
I'm good. Lilah's good. So, the Lando Project with me and Lilah. How are we?
Yeah, I'm good, but I can't see like the frames on like Rendezvous or whatever it's called. Like I can't see like when we're in the frame.
Because I don't have that up. I took that down. There you go.
I was gonna say I can't. Okay, good, because like I'm crooked. Like I'm just a naturally crooked person. Like I lean one way.
Because
so
you
like, I
moved. That's
I'm
what
sorry.
Jesus.
I'm a naturally crooked. I'm a naturally crooked person, Lando. Like
I don't want to troubleshoot this on live.
You want to see my new K-pop album, Lando? While BC figures out his mic.
Did we figure it out?
Yo, test this out. How does this sound?
Like absolute trash. I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me at all?
Yeah, no, I can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
It's very faint. It's like very faint.
Hey, hi mom. Hi mom, if you're watching, this is your son here. Just trying our best.
Guys.
Anything better? No.
It's just really low.
It's I was gonna say the volume's just really low.
I don't know how to fix that.
Maybe if you yell.
I mean, I always fucking yell.
Even then, you're like faint.
Yeah, you're just really faint.
Damn.
I mean, if I turn the gain up,
You're like
God, that's loud.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, but we heard you.
We heard
Is
you.
that working?
Yeah, that was working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Oof. All right.
So we found out the issue after all. It was not Lando. It was not Lilah. It was the Cowboys fan ruining everything.
See, there you go. There you go. You had to look. We about to wreck the league. Like the league's about to go, and we about to wreck, and you know that.
Yeah, Ezra Miller. So yes, this past week, Ezra Miller. We've been having the Ezra Miller week to week show, and this past week, Ezra Miller actually did finally come out. He released an apology. The apology went a little bit something like this. He said, having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I've alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. Now, he released this after we've heard all the things going on with Ezra Miller, after WB has canceled a lot of stuff. They did put out this statement a few days before this came out, though. It's like they kind of telegraphed it where they said that, hey, we got 3 different options coming out. But Ezra Miller finally has come out. He has talked about this. BC, we've heard this apology. What say you? Will the world together in unison, are we forgiving Ezra Miller, or is he still casted and banned to the Shadow Realm?
Everybody loves a good comeback story. We always root for people to be the best versions of themselves. So, we're all looking forward to Ezra getting the help he needs, having mom by their side, and being able to return to Hollywood and get out there and kick some ass. So I am really happy to see that he's putting this statement out, whether it is, it's definitely a statement put out by his PR team, not something personally that he said. It is a crafted statement that we understand, but I'm excited to see him get better, them get better. I'm excited to see them get some help that they need. So that's good to know. And I hope he could be a part of the Flash promotions. That's what I hope. So,
okay, so I mean, but this statement, do you think that this is pretty much, you said do you think this was like a telegraph thing? A lot of people are kind of feeling like, okay, WB Warner Brothers already said that this is going to be one of the 3 options, right? He's going to apologize, seek mental health treatment, and then possibly do a limited press run. Do you think that this is the result of that, or do you think that he just decided to say, hey, I want to wake up today and actually issue an apology to the world? Do you think his hand was forced?
No, I think this is exactly like you guys were just saying, how coincidental it is that it's one right behind the other. But I think it's that, they spoke with Ezra and their mom and said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put out these 3 options. All right. A couple days later, you're going to put out your apology and say that you're going to get help. I think this was crafted from start to finish, but that's the best you're going to get in Hollywood. You're never going to get an authentic apology, because when someone wants to go out and give an authentic apology, their publicist is going to step in and go, no. We are going to handcraft you an apology to say. And that's always been one of my issues, but that's not Ezra's fault. That is the way that Hollywood is set up now. That's what that is. And, you can't blame Ezra for that. You can't blame anyone for that. That's just how it is. So, I think this is the right step. This is exactly the direction they should be going. And I'm happy to see it.
Lilah, you hear this apology that he's said. Do you think that this is finally going to be the end of the Ezra Miller week to week, trouble in paradise kind of thing? Or do you kind of just see this as a temporary Band-Aid fix, maybe possibly that it's still going to further deteriorate? Do you think that we could finally put this behind us and move on.
I I think as someone who's loved Ezra Miller, like I was really on Ezra Miller back in the day before they were the Flash. I was there for We Need to Talk About Kevin and The Perks of Being a Wallflower. All their indie films. I was there for
Great
Ezra Miller.
movies.
I was there for great movies. They are an incredible actor.
Mhm.
They are so talented and so beautiful. Like that's a stunning human being. So it's always saddened me that I'm like, you obviously got demons. Like it's something is wrong.
Yeah.
Like something is wrong and you need help. So I'm really glad to see that they're getting help. That's that makes me like personally happy. I hope they really are like getting help and it's not just like they're saying they're getting help. Because you can get help all you want, but if you don't want to be helped, like we're gonna go back to a crime every other week. Because at the end of the day, they are sick. Like there's something wrong. Like I'm not gonna diagnose them, but like they are mentally ill, and it is going to be like it's going to be a wave more likely. So I don't think immediately they're gonna go back to committing crimes in Hawaii for like shits and giggles, but I also don't think that like
That man was a menace to
it's not
Hawaii,
gonna.
bruh. He was a
Oh,
menace.
oh my God,
No, and that's kind of
it's
how
not enough.
that's kind of how I feel too. And by no means am I going to just forget of all the things that he's done. I definitely believe that he's going to have to win over the court of public opinion once again. I believe he has to. I'm not sorry. They have to win over the court of public opinion. They have a lot of work to do. Whatever
Mhm.
laws that they broke, they have to. They have, you know, you have to go
They have
get
to
that
pay
right.
up.
You have to go pay what you owe. You know, the bill, as Mordo says, the bill comes due, right? And whatever
Yep.
bill he's racked up, they're gonna have to pay. And it is really unfortunate. I am hoping though we can at least start to do the healing process and
Mhm.
the the bridge building process back with this. But I do not believe that he's going to be the Flash anymore. I definitely think that they need to remove themselves from that. Warner Brothers needs to remove themselves from that, and they need to step away and go get the treatment that they need. But I do believe that this is at least the first step to it. And by no means am I saying I forgive Ezra. All is good. No,
Mm.
still needs to have some work to be in. The same way with Will Smith. Will Smith definitely did not do anything on the degree that Ezra has done. He was never actually officially charged with anything, and of course, it was a slap heard around the world. But there are different degrees to it where Ezra actually has potentially committed some actual crimes and everything. So, first step, I believe, for WB
Violent.
Discovery, and of course, this looks like that they are pushing more for that limited press run, potentially with the movie coming out in theater. So that's good because selfishly, I still want to see this movie. The movie
Yeah.
we're hearing is good. I want to see Michael Keaton back. I want to see whatever little bit we can see of the Supergirl iteration. I want to see all this stuff. I don't want to see this movie shelved. It's unfortunate that that's one of the possible options, but I want to see them move past this. So, yeah, anybody else have anything else they want to see about Ezra? Because I just want to move past it. I
That's
feel
true.
feel
It
exhausted.
is something that we need to start moving past because
Mhm.
as the Ezra saga has been long, and hopefully it gets quiet
It's.
for the next couple months
Right.
while they out there
I
getting
hope
help.
so.
And we could definitely move past it because I just realized with all the technical difficulties, there's something I have been holding off and waiting to tell you, Lando.
What's that?
Mm.
You are completely full of shit.
Why?
Because I watched your Predator ranking video.
Uh-huh.
And that's just straight up wrong. Like it's wrong. It's
What do you
awful.
mean? Everything
And
about that video
you're
was
you're just a
1000%.
terrible human being
What do you mean?
for putting AVPR so low and putting Predator 2. Like how could you
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
to Predator 2?
Predator
Like,
2
Danny
deserves where it
Glover-
got.
No,
It looks
Predator
bad.
2 is a classic film.
It's a classically bad film that deserves to be the number 6
without
movie.
that movie,
Period.
Bill Paxton would only have been killed by 2 of the greatest killers. But because of Predator 2, Bill Paxton has been killed by all 3 of the greatest killers of all time. He died by Terminator.
Yep.
He died by
An Alien. Yep.
And he died
by
by
a Predator. I'm aware.
And you're ranking that movie in the bottom? What is
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Well, it's not what's wrong with me.
Freaking tastic! It is a full-fledged Oscar-worthy film. Also, it is not Nick Nolte. All right, it is
Gary Busey. I realized that when I know it's Gary Busey. Yeah. Cool.
Oh my god.
Which we probably shouldn't talk about today because of everything else going on with Gary Busey. But yeah, you're right.
Gary Busey.
Huh?
I was just saying, what happened with Gary Busey?
You didn't hear about the sexual?
No.
Oh man.
Give me the tea. Hold on.
Okay. I don't have all the. Okay, we're talking about it. It's
Give me the
all
basics.
off the top.
Give me the basics.
So this past weekend, he was charged with 2 or 3 counts of sexual misconduct, sexual allegations over at the anime con, some kind of film con over the past 2 weeks. He just got charged this weekend. It just 2 days ago, he got charged.
No.
Yeah. At a con, do you know what happened? Like, it really happened.
Yeah.
That shit happens at cons all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I hope it's not one of the things with his deteriorating mental health, though.
No. I think this is valid. Though the way this is coming late, because it happens so quick.
We know ever since the motorcycle accident, Gary not all there.
I'm going to pull this article up here from the New York Times. It says the actor Gary Busey faces charges of criminal sexual contact and harassment related to incidents that occurred at a horror film fan convention in New Jersey. The charges were filed on Friday after the authorities responded to reports of a sexual offense at the convention. Busey, 78, who lives in California, was scheduled to be a featured guest at the event. Busey was charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree criminal sexual contact, 1 count of 4th-degree attempted criminal sexual contact, and 1 count of harassment. The police said the investigation is continuing. Additional details about the charges were not immediately available. I'm reading this from the New York Times article, which was posted yesterday.
Oh my god, that's so disappointing. I had no idea.
Yeah. I was going to put it on here, but I didn't want to put too much negative.
Yeah, I don't like talking about the negativity, but I had no idea that even happened.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to mess up Nick Nolte and Gary Busey. Sometimes I really do get certain actors.
Oh, I do it too.
All the time. Just confused, and I realized after the video was posted, I was like, that's definitely Gary Busey, not Nick Nolte. Yeah.
Of course, that's why I didn't say anything about your video in group chat. The entire time. I'm like, nah, he's gonna hear about it on the show.
That's fair.
Live.
Listen,
his hatred.
I can understand your frustration.
Glover's Predator. Danny Glover's an incredible hero.
He was fantastic, but I still want. How did I say it? Skewed.
You wanted him to die. You wanted them to kill
fantastic.
Danny Glover.
It was fantastic. I love that video that I made, by the way. I love where I put AVP. I thought I put AVP in the right spot.
Wrong. AVPR is better than AVP. I don't know how you could like the PG-13 version better than the R version. Wow. You are retarded. Yes, it is true. It is true.
Man.
AVPR is a much better film,
guys,
than AVP.
If you are watching this, comment down below and let us know who you agree with a little bit more. Where would you rank the Predator movies? And if you haven't seen that Predator ranking video, this is that part where we put the little tag on the side where you can watch. This is for post-production for the Predator video.
They're definitely going to agree with me because I'm right, obviously.
Anyway, moving on. So we got some really cool news. So Jamie Foxx is in the news recently, and he does have a new movie out called The Day Shift. Had a chance to look at that movie. It was actually pretty good. We're going to do a review about that later on. We possibly may have some special guests to talk to us about The Day Shift in the next few weeks. But beyond just The Day Shift, Jamie Foxx has come out, and he had a few things to say about one of the movies that he's made. So a few years ago, he was directing a movie called All-Star Weekend. And this movie was going to it was going to be about 2 basketball players getting away for All-Star Weekend. And I guess the movie's been shelved. And Jamie Foxx is saying that cancel culture is preventing release of All-Star Weekend. They're saying it is controversial. Jamie Foxx came out. He had some comments. He said, man, it's been tough with the lay of the land when it comes to comedy, man. We're trying to break open those sensitive corners where people go back to laughing again. And that's why I think even in this film, which is great, is that one thing we kept hearing in the screenings was how much people were laughing. So hopefully we'll keep them laughing and run them into All-Star Weekend because we were definitely going for it. And to give you guys a little bit more backstory, what he's referring to is that they actually casted Robert Downey Jr. to play Mexican in the movie. And because of that casting choice, I guess They ended up shelving the movie. They're calling the movie controversial. It's no longer going to be released. This isn't the first time Robert Downey Jr. has been in this kind of situation before. If you do remember, there was a few years ago. This is probably my all-time favorite comedy, Tropic Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
With Robert Downey Jr. playing the dude disguised as a dude disguised as another dude. You know? Well,
Yeah.
and he got some backlash for that. Oddly, though, not from the black community, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
The black community had no problems with Robert Downey Jr. playing that role because he did it so great. It was awesome. It was, of course, a lot of other people who want to be offended on the behalf of other people who aren't offended. They were pissed. And now it looks like this movie, All-Star Weekend, is also another victim of that. BC, you hear this news. You hear this. What say you? What do you think? Is Robert Downey Jr. a menace? Is he another Ezra Miller? Does he need to go away forever?
My favorite part about this is you didn't mention this is the in an interview with Joe Rogan. He said they all play different characters. Rogan is supposed to be in it, playing a racist white cop.
Nice.
Robert Downey Jr. is supposed to play a Mexican.
Yes.
Gerard Butler is a Russian who loves gymnastics. I love that they had to add in. Yeah, Gerard Butler is a Russian who loves gymnastics.
It's a major plot character.
But then Jamie Foxx is like, I called Robert and I said, I need you to play a Mexican. And Robert Downey Jr. says, dude, here, sure, fuck it, why not? No, sure. But then texted Jamie Foxx back and says, I'm nervous to play the Mexican. Fox responded with, I say, shit, you played a black dude and you killed that shit. We got to be able to do characters. That's what I love. Because I remember...
when he said that a long time ago.
And cancel culture went after Robert Downey Jr. like a year ago or so. Then, hey, he did blackface in this movie.
We not for it.
And then Jamie Foxx came out on it was either Conan or one of those after late night shows, and he's like, I don't know why people were going after him. That thing was hilarious. Robert Downey Jr. did it right.
No one. Okay, I hang around a lot of black people, bruh. You know Jay, right? You know a lot of black people too. Like, you know Jay. We love that movie. We got no issues with Robert Downey Jr. playing that role because it wasn't egregious blackface. It was not. If you really look at, and this is one of those things, like I said, if you're one of those people out there in the world who just like to get offended because you think someone else gets offended, cut that shit out. No one likes you. Go away. Okay? You're a pariah. Like, that's not at all what we're about. The issue with blackface was the egregious use of blackface back in the early 1900s, 1920s, 1930s, when they was using blackface as kind of picking fun at or really egregiously making fun of my race, right? Yes. What Robert Downey Jr. did in that movie, yes, did he end up having it? Yes, but was it the genuine, true nature of black? No. Mm-hmm. And in the way that they did it in that movie, I thought was done with a lot of tact. It was very smart, well written. It wasn't just like put him in blackface. There was a lot of thought behind it. And then also Robert Downey Jr., if I'm not mistaken, got an Academy Award nomination for how he portrayed that character. Right? So there's no issues here. And I'm also part Mexican. I don't mind if Robert Downey Jr. wants to do that. You know why? Because actors act.
Exactly.
Actors act.
Exactly.
It's what they do.
I used to get mad at one of my buddies because we'd bring up Jason Statham, right?
The most racially ambiguous white dude of all time.
And my buddy hates Jason Statham. And I'm like, why do you hate Jason Statham? He goes, well, because he's always playing a badass. I'm like, so? He's like, well, I saw this video of him on YouTube. And his girlfriend was just reading him the riot act and blah, 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 and ripping into it. He's not a badass. He's a little bitch. And I'm like, okay, back up. Let's say that's true. All right, let's say he's not a badass. Mark Ruffalo also does not turn into a giant green rage monster. It is called acting.
That is definitely him. That is him. I don't care what you say.
That's Mark Ruffalo.
That's Mark Ruffalo.
That's literally Mark Ruffalo has been to premieres like that. I've seen him on the red carpet like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand why people get mad at people for acting.
It's
like acting.
Lilah, you hear this news. What say you? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that cancel culture is going too far? Do you think they're right? Let me ask you this. Do you think that people are right to be offended? Should those roles be going to naturally Mexican parts? Do you think Robert Downey Jr. should be canceled? Should we hate Jamie Foxx? What do you think?
No, I have the belief that cancel culture isn't really real. It's not really. It will never affect Robert Downey Jr. It will
Oh, that's
never
true.
affect. It'll honestly never affect any mainstream actors. It'll never affect people of Jamie Foxx's standing, of Robert Downey Jr.'s standing, of any of their standings. So I don't like. Bro, I hate when
The
actors do that.
uncancelable.
Yes, I hate when actors are like, cancel culture is going to kill me. No, it's not. You're in Hollywood. You're going to be fine no matter what because people will cast you even if you have SA allegations on you. Like, they don't care. You're still going to get paid. You're still going to get a job. Jamie, I honestly think the movie was probably shelved because it wasn't going to be that good. Like, I'll just say it. The plot I read sounded like ass. I'll just be blunt about it. It sounded bad. Why didn't you just cast a Mexican man? I think it would have been funnier if you casted George Lopez, but I'm a George Lopez stan, so
I love George.
maybe that's my hot take. I was about to say, you probably could have made some real bank if you did George Lopez, but you went with Robert Downey Jr., which you knew would probably offend people, which is like, if you want that to be your brand of comedy, sure, but like, reap what you sow if that's what you're going to go for.
Mhm.
Because I can't imagine like Warner Brothers would put something like that out, or like a major company would be like, yeah, in the good, because I believe it was 2018 or was it 2016?
I believe it was 2016.
See,
I
that
can't
was a
remember.
horrible time to time. I was gonna say it was because I was just looking at it, and they used the word "stand" wrong in that article, and it made me like mad because I was like, don't use words you don't know. I was like, don't like use words you don't know, like because it's like the unreleased All Star Weekend starring Fox and Jeremy. What's
Piven,
his last name? Piven. Thank
Piven.
you. Jeremy Piven is
who's
about
great.
two
I love Jeremy
NBA
Piven.
Was he in it?
about two
He's in it
NBA
too?
obsessed
He was the
friends
other
from
star of the movie.
Indiana. Yeah, no, he's Piven's character is Steph Curry's biggest fan, while Fox stands for LeBron James. You don't stand for. You would just stand LeBron James.
That's just a bad
That
written article. You're right. That's just a bad.
that wasn't Jamie.
That's not Jamie's
that
fault.
wasn't Jamie.
I'm
No,
not
that
gonna
wasn't
lie.
Jamie's fault. But I
I'm
was
not gonna
like,
lie. Listening to you break it down like that actually has me very more intrigued, and I want to see it now.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
I think the
it's
premise of this
insane.
movie sounds great. And,
Yeah,
and
Jeremy Piven and
It sounds
Jamie
catchy.
Foxx being uber NBA fans.
Yeah.
I kind of want to
It
see
sounds
that.
tacky.
and
I would say it just sounds tacky to me.
I'm asking you, Lila. So you believe if the role is for a Mexican role, you think it should go to a Mexican actor?
Yeah, I just think it's really that simple. 'Cause
I
there are funny
disagree.
Mexican men out there.
I
There's
disagree.
just funny Mexican men out there.
Well,
I'm-
see,
I'm
my
half
thought is
Hispanic.
depends
I don't give a
on-
shit who
it
you
depends
cast
on
him.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just like Tropic Thunder was very much a parody of the tropes in Hollywood.
Right.
Mhm.
If that's what they're going for,
Could've
then
been done
that
really well.
works. If the role
I think that's what he
calls
was.
for someone who is not Hispanic to play a Hispanic role,
Mhm.
then I get that. But if it is
Yeah.
an actual Hispanic role, then yes, you should put a Hispanic in there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I as the Hispanic here, I don't care. Like I don't.
Good.
I genuinely don't
Good.
care because I'm not the person to get riled up about that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
See,
if
but-
it
but
doesn't
there
bother
are-
me.
But there are ones that you do get riled up.
No, I do.
There's
No,
ones that I get riled up,
if
and ones that I don't.
right.
Mhm.
I don't like I said if it was Black Panther where the integrity of that character really is developed into their ethnic background, then that would matter a lot to me. Whether or not they've written this character for it to be a Mexican guy, I don't think that not necessarily matters all too much. It also depends on the depiction that they were going for. What Robert Downey Jr. did with Tropic Thunder when he had to play the dude disguised as another dude,
Mhm.
and ultimately he played a black man for a majority of the movie. I thought it was done very well, where it shows that anyone can make, and I believe in the thing of anyone can make any kind of joke that they want to. I don't believe that there's no limitations on what kind of joke if you want to make a self-deletion joke, make one. If you want to make a 9/11 joke, make one. If you want to make a COVID joke, make one. If you want to make a joke about whatever. Gary Busey, what he did this weekend, make one. I don't give a shit what you make a joke about, as long as it hits. And I'll judge you based on how well that joke landed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get my own personal biases about racial injustice and civil rights to get caught up over a simple thing that a person's kind of make. I don't believe that jokes are dangerous. I don't. I believe people are dangerous. I don't believe jokes are dangerous. Comedians are there to make jokes. What people do with that information is up to them. The same way that I don't believe that video games make kids dangerous. And I don't like this narrative that every single person has to line, every single thing has to line up, you know. And of course, there are very funny Mexican, Hispanic actors who could have possibly landed that role. But if he wrote that role with Robert Downey Jr. in mind, well, then hell, then that's where it should have went.
I think that's kind of what I just think that's like a weird thought process. I don't know. Maybe because like I honestly feel like if he had made this movie around a different era, like a different time, I think it would have done better. Like I think he probably would. It wouldn't have been shelved if he didn't make it in 2016. When this would have easily been like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Jamie Foxx? That would not have like probably flown with a lot of people in 2016. You guys excluded, but like it wouldn't have like landed as hard as it would have in like 2013 or 2014 even. But 2016.
See, and I guess this begs the question on who's getting offended.
Yeah.
Who is getting offended and why we're getting offended. And I think that a lot of the times, and this is me speaking. I see a lot of people getting offended online whenever something like this happens, and it's normally people who aren't of that.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know, and it's like you don't ask us how we feel about
being offended on behalf of.
I don't need anyone to be offended on my behalf. I don't.
No.
I'm very much able to get offended myself, but then again, I don't. It's movies. They're fictional stories. Yeah. I'm not going to get offended because you jack up a fictional story. You know, there's levels to it. There's levels to offend. I get offended when I walk into a restaurant and then, you know, someone assumes a lot about me and my marriage, whatever. You know, it's like that's when I get offended. But it's not about these kinds of things. I think this is pretty trivial. I would hate to see movies getting. I don't like to hear movies getting canceled because of cancel culture. I don't like that. I think that's really stupid.
Which like that's, as I said, like I really don't think that's like it. Like I truly deeply believe cancel culture will never affect Hollywood. It does not.
I disagree.
Well, I mean,
I disagree with you.
I don't think
it does affect some.
It does.
It definitely does affect some.
It definitely does.
Like again, I didn't think it was going to affect Will Smith as much as it's affecting him, but it's definitely a bigger issue that
it's affecting him. I mean, I think it should be. Even the most uncancelable person who I think is around is Dave Chappelle, and even he's feeling the effects of cancel culture to a certain extent because of some things that he says. And what if you agree with it or not? But I don't know. I don't kind of subscribe to that notion. I don't wake up every single day wanting someone to get yelled and screamed at because their opinions and their views differ from mine. I think that we should allow people to have different views and different opinions and different iterations, because ultimately, here's the thing: we're never going to see what Robert Downey Jr. was going to do in that role.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It might not even been offensive. He might not even have mentioned he was Mexican. Like I bet that might have just been like, in my head, you play Mexican, but you never explicitly say you're Mexican, so you wouldn't even know. You know, you would not, and we'll never know.
We'll never know. We'll never know, and that is for sure. Well, that's our thoughts about that situation. Moving on, we got some really cool news I want to talk about because I really do love this. I love the Clooney version, but we got, a few years ago, there was a movie that came out that destroyed one of my favorite franchises, and it was called Ocean's 8. Ocean's 8, and I'm before I preface this, I thought Ocean's 8 was just a bad movie. Bad movie. I love the Oceans, the George Clooney Oceans movie. That Frank Sinatra movie from back in the day was also a big old pile of trash. Okay, I didn't like that movie either. But I thought that the Ocean's 8 movie, the only thing that made me want to watch that and hope that continued was because there was kind of some mystery surrounding George Clooney's Danny Ocean. You know, they said that they killed him off, but then there was some echoing that they might bring him back later. Well, now it looks like the nail is in the coffin here, because it looks like Ryan Gosling is in talks to join Margot Robbie in a brand new Ocean's 11 movie. And what they're kind of saying about this is that this movie is actually going to take place back into the 1960s, back when the original Rat Pack made the original Ocean's 11 movie, with him potentially starring alongside Margot Robbie. I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad about this because, like I said, I wanted to see George Clooney and Brad Pitt and Matt Damon. I like that group. I like that group, but I guess it's time for us to put that group behind us and move on to hearing about this. BC, you're hearing this news. You're hearing that Ryan Gosling is in talks to join this, and you're hearing that's going to take place in the 60s. What say you, my friend?
I'm disappointed about it too because I don't think we need to remake Ocean's 11 again. If we want to go back to that world, I think that's an awesome idea. That would be a lot of fun to go back to the world we're in. I don't think we need to remake it again. I don't think there's anything new that you can really do to Ocean's 11. You know, like there's not. I've watched the original. I've watched the remake. They're both fantastic. What do we?
The original?
What can you do different? Yes, the original
With Frank?
Yeah, with Frank. I own it. Yeah, dude, come on now,
bruh.
Come on now.
That was rough.
Of course, I own Frank. Hold on. What you mean it was rough?
I did not like that movie.
Look, I need you to never disrespect old Blue Eyes like that.
Yeah.
Again.
I don't care. Cancel me.
Bro, I will.
Cancel me like we're canceling Robert Downey Jr. Cancel the black man.
I will lace you
You're
up
so
with them
much more easy to
brand new
cancel.
Nike cinder blocks, and I will throw your ass in the Hudson. They'll never find you.
Do it.
All right, I'm just letting you know. You need to not be bashing on old Blue Eyes. You know what
I love Frank Sinatra's music. I think that Ocean's 11 movie was a big old pile of sweaty ass cheeks.
Oh, you're just no.
That's my take. But I'm allowed to have my opinion on that movie. So I wanted them to kind of revisit this. I wanted to see them revisit the Ocean's 11 that we got with George Clooney because I thought George Clooney was a phenomenal Danny Ocean. Phenomenal Danny Ocean. You know, everything that I wanted him to be Batman with Bruce Wayne, he delivered as Danny Ocean. I got it from Danny. And I wanted to see them revisit that. So it does kind of let me, okay, we got to move past that, I guess, and we're not going to get a continuation for Ocean's 8, which I thought there were some good things about it. I liked the cast. I thought the cast was great. The movie just fell apart to me. It just didn't have that nuance that I guess that I wanted from that movie. But Lilah, you hear this. You hear this news about Ryan Gosling possibly joining the Ocean's movies, and Margot Robbie's involved. And I love Margot. What do you think?
Yeah. I really hope that that we don't go down the path of like Ryan Gosling is always going to be with Margot Robbie because they do look good together. But I'm like, okay, I get it. He was her Ken. She was Barbie. I understand. But I'm really kind of over Ryan Gosling. Like, I'll just be blunt. Like, he's my friend. That's my pal. But like,
why are you over Ryan
I feel
Gosling?
I don't know, because like, well, maybe because I'm like bitter about the like casting of him as Ken in the Barbie movie.
He looks great as Ken.
He looks great, but like I would never have been like, yeah, that's who I'm gonna go with. I don't know who I would have gone with, but my first thought was not Ryan Gosling. Like I was not like when I think Ken doll, I think Ryan Gosling. And like, how old is Ryan Gosling at this point?
I don't know, probably like 50 something.
No, I think.
Okay, never mind. I'll take that back. He was really good for his age.
Early 40s. Okay, yeah, 40s, 50s.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, damn, he looks really good for 50. But no, I don't. I just feel like I'm over him. Like I'm just like I feel like I've seen all I've seen from him. I've seen a lot of.
Oh, he's 41. Okay, my bad. I really was off the mark there.
I was going to say, damn, you were really off the mark. He's he's really talented. Like I'll give him that. But like I feel like I've seen all I like want to see of him.
I mean, I agree. Like when I was watching The Gray Man, I definitely thought that Ryan Gosling was kind of one of the weaker parts of The Gray Man, not gonna lie. I definitely thought he was a little bit phoned in on it. And Ryan Gosling, I think, is a very serviceable actor. I think that he is he is a really good, like I say, he's a very serviceable actor. I think he's honestly a really good actor, but I don't know if he's going to be able to deliver that same kind of magic that, Danny brought in. But also, it depends on who the ensemble is, and that's the great thing about the Ocean's movies. It's really an ensemble movie and that's what I love about the Ocean's 11, even 12 and even a little bit of 13, even though 13 to me was the weakest of those movies. But
I actually think 13 was better than 12.
oh, you know, 12 was the one with the French dude, right? Dancing around.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that one was worse. But just by a little bit. It's hairs at this point. But I do think that ensemble with, like I said, Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, rest in peace, Bernie Mac, Don Cheadle, right? I mean that Sandra Bullock, right? Or no?
Was she in there?
She was the new one.
I was gonna say, was she in there?
No, she was in the new one.
Oh, you're thinking about the original.
Yeah.
Oh God, Tinkerbell from Hook.
Help me.
Pretty woman.
Pretty Woman.
Hold on.
I'm blanking.
I know. Why?
I'm Nick Nolte, Gary Busey this right now.
Oh my God, she didn't even pop up when I like Googled it. I was like, I got you guys. Oh, Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. The other Sandra Bullock.
We know names.
Right. The other Sandra Bullock.
Other Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. I thought that ensemble is really what made that movie so well written. And so that's really what I need to figure out is who is writing this movie, how is it all going to come together? Because I think that's what made the first one so great. Well, not the first one, the Oceans with George. I don't consider the Frank one at all when I talk about Oceans. But the Oceans movie with George, the writing was fantastic, the directing was fantastic. Garcia was fantastic as the casino owner. It all worked. So I am hoping that this movie does work. I want this to be good. We'd never want movies to come out and be bad. I would like for this movie to come and prove all of us wrong. Maybe we get the 1960s movie of Oceans that is actually, the best of the series. You never know.
1960s?
It's in the 1960s.
Oh, like I thought you meant like there was an Oceans movie from
I'm
the
trying
60s.
to dig at the original Oceans movie without digging too hard at the original Oceans movie.
Perfect.
I just like to see DC over there getting pissed off.
I was
Okay.
about to say turning red.
Yeah. And with that being said, we're going to move on. Now we're going to get into our She-Hulk spoiler review. So I'm very excited to talk about this. We're going to get to it. We got a lot of things to talk about with some controversy up top. So remember, this is a spoiler review for She-Hulk episode 1. Hopefully you guys have seen it. I think I got a thing here. Hold on. I got where's my things? Here it is. Boom. I'm doing some editing on the spot here. Pardon me.
Editing on the spot.
Boom. Look at that. Spoiler alert.
Oh, wow.
I know.
I mean, can we talk spoilers though? Because someone hasn't seen it.
She signed up for this. She knew what she was getting into. So yes, we're talking spoilers. Okay. She-Hulk came out. First review. I was looking forward to this movie. I mean, not movie. I was looking forward to this show. We had the CGI issues, but they seemed to correct that. I thought the CGI looked pretty good. And now we finally got a chance. It debuted last Wednesday. BC, you had a chance to watch this show. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts?
This show is hilarious and so much fun. And now that may be, and I don't want to get right into the post-credit scene, but it may be because the post-credit scene left me laughing for 20 minutes straight nonstop. But I came away from this show in love with it. I had a few issues, like you said, the CGI looked better. And maybe it's just because I lost my glasses recently, so life is not in HD to me anymore. It's in a little bit of blurry vision. Maybe the CGI was still a little wonky for me just because of that, but it wasn't so bad that it took me out of it. I will say that I noticed some things when Hulk was talking that I'm like, all right, there's a little bit less of a budget here that I notice it. I notice the less of the budget a little bit, but not enough to really hurt the show. I liked that episode 1 was basically the whole damn trailer. I like that the rest of the show, we have no idea what's going to happen other than my boy's going to show up at some point. And I know you have some issues that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And I had those issues for a moment until you were talking about them beforehand. So I'm going to hold off on that till you get to them. But I think I have something that can maybe make you a little happier with the issues, but
I hope so. But let's talk about that post-credit scene because this is the controversy here. Okay? So, as long as we knew Captain America was the 90-year-old virgin. He was the 90-year-old virgin. That's the Captain America.
I never thought that.
That's what I thought. And God damn it, that's what we're thinking that he thought. As a group, as a collective.
As he told Natasha, I'm 94. I'm not dead.
I was thinking he saved himself for this young lady here. This beautiful, wonderful, alternate universe Captain America, Captain Carter. I'm thinking he saved himself for her. But it turns out we have been bamboozled because this man here picked one of those lucky ladies in the back and took her to Pound Town. That's what we found out. That's what we found out in this episode. This was the biggest plot twist to come out of She-Hulk, in my opinion, because the entire time Jennifer Walters is asking Bruce, hey, what's the deal with Steve? And what did she say? She's like, that ass. Bringing a call back to the America's ass thing. That ass. That ass shouldn't have been alone. Right? But then we found out in a drunk session in a post-credit scene, the Hulk does finally let it be known that Captain America did lose his virginity back in 1942 or 1941 on the USO tour with one of those girls. We don't know who she was. Many people are thinking it's the one girl who also played Star-Lord's mom. The same actress, but different character. She played a different character. But we found out that he did lose his virginity a long time ago. Lilah, you hear this. You didn't watch this, but you hear this. Does this make you lose faith in Captain America? Has he betrayed your trust?
No.
No? Okay.
No. If anything, it makes me respect him more.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it really does. Because I'm really not a fan of Peggy.
America,
Yes, Captain America has sex. Like, that's what he should be doing. He should not be saving himself for Peggy. Captain America fucks. Thank you. That's all. My Captain America has sex.
That's what I'm talking
He
about.
right.
I cracked up at it. I loved it so much. And it's the delivery. It's the delivery of that whole scene that made me just love it so much, man.
I love that scene, and it wasn't so much about the idea that we learned that Captain America has lost his virginity a long time ago, that he lost it before he went and became a popsicle. Really, what I loved about that scene was just it reinforces the chemistry between Jen Walters and Bruce Banner.
Yes.
That's really all it did for me. I had a lot of love for this show, and then that as the end piece for me. It wasn't so much about Captain America. It was just they're cousins, but you could tell they're really tight. They're really close. They hang out, and I felt that chemistry. It felt like this character has been in the MCU for such a long time. We just haven't met her yet. Where normally before we meet a lot of characters, they're like, oh, where have they been at? Oh, this is their whole thing. But it honestly feels like in behind the scenes, I can see how the Hulk and her have had a relationship. It just seemed natural, and I really enjoyed them together. Watching the show, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very funny. I did have some issues with it. But ultimately, it left me quite satisfied. I think that Disney is on a roll right now with their shows. I think that they've turned the corner a little bit because with Miss Marvel being the way that it was, and I really enjoyed Miss Marvel. I think that me and you, BC, are kind of the only people in existence, but I think we have Miss Marvel up there as our number 1 or number 2 favorite Disney Plus shows. You know, and
as of right now, it is definitely my number 2.
Yeah, and for me, it's my number 1. But it's my and with this show, I thought that this first episode was really well done. We really got a little bit of that lawyer talk that they were talking about, the Ally McBeal thing, the breaking of the fourth wall, things of that nature. And then we also got the origin story, which I thought was really very, very weird. So we got the origin story about She-Hulk. She's driving with Bruce in the car.
I loved how they I loved how they did it though, because it's just, they open up with that great opening scene of her, practicing her closing arguments,
Mm-hmm.
and then then she turns to the camera. She's like, "Okay, I know you don't care about the lawyer crap. You want to see how I became She-Hulk, so let's just get it over with."
Right.
And then they just went through it on episode 1. It was perfect because that's the internet. And that's what we've been complaining about. The internet keeps complaining that like, why is this taking so long? Because you look at the other shows, and some of them look like they were definitely movies cut into TV shows. This one feels right off the bat like a TV show.
Here's the origin
right?
story. No more
Ms.
wait
Marvel
5 or 6
felt
episodes.
like a TV show.
Right, and it is kind of like the Spider-Man No Way Home thing. Like, we felt we got 3 movies to finally get to Spider-Man's origin story. Or even with Ms. Marvel, like, it's a prolonged origin story. With Moon Knight, prolonged origin story. All these are prolonged origin stories. We got the origin right off the break. Now, we can just delve into the character and hang out with She-Hulk. That's really cool. But what I was going to say was, we get the origin. They're driving down the road. They're driving on the freeway. And Bruce is asking her how to eat Cheetos out of a bag with chopsticks. And then they get the Sakaar messenger ship shows up. The Sakaar messenger ship shows up out of nowhere. And this was released. This clip was released early. They stumble, blood transfusion. We're off to the races, right? So she gets the Hulk's blood and she becomes the She-Hulk in that way. But BC, you get the Sakaar messenger ship. We heard there's going to be a lot of cameos, a lot of characters in the MCU showing up, but we got a Sakaar messenger ship showing up in the very, very beginning of this show. Where does your mind go with this? What do you think this is? Let's just a little quick speculation before we move on.
Honestly, I didn't really think much about it other than, it's a ship that caused the crash. All right. And then I didn't really think about it again because they didn't really bring it back up. So I don't know if that's something we're going to go back to, or if that was just, hey, it was there. And Hulk's just like, yeah,
they would have to follow that up. That's just so random.
But it felt so basic in the show because, like, he's like, "Oh yeah, Sakaar ship showed up," it was so matter of fact that it felt like it wasn't that important. And I think that it's not that important to this show. Maybe it'll be important to something else later on down the line, but I feel like it's not really going to be that important to this show.
But it's definitely a smoking gun. I mean, it's definitely Chekhov's gun. They're going to have to come back to this at some point. We just can't have, unless we're just getting super sloppy with the MCU because there's still a floating Celestial sitting over there in the ocean. We're getting random Sakaar messenger ships coming down with no importance. We have to start wrapping this stuff up and making it make sense. But I mean, at least with me, it's starting to make me feel like that World War Hulk setup. I was telling you about this before. I think that's where we're going. I would not be surprised if by the end of this season, Hulk is going off-world again. I think that's where we're going with it. But anyway, moving on past that because that was so quick. Then we get them into the lab where Hulk is kind of explaining to her how to be a Hulk. And then that's when the training montage really picks up, right? You start to see them practicing yoga together. He's trying to teach her about the dangers of being a Hulk, about the side effects of being a Hulk, about how you have to understand how these powers work and how people are going to see you a certain kind of way because he's telling her about his own experience. When I became the Hulk, I was hated. When I became the Hulk, they hunted me down. When I became the Hulk, I had to fight with the other guy for 10 years. And he's trying to be that, that figure for her to say, hey, this is the steps that I had to go through to not be these are the training that I have to go through for the past 10 years. He's trying to pass that on to her. And of course, she's being hard-headed about it because she wants to get back to being a lawyer. But it really got a chance for us to dive into the Hulk psyche a little bit more than I would say we've gotten to in a while with the MCU. And they touch on that original MCU movie that it seems Disney is totally disregarding. But
I heard about that and how they didn't, they completely left it out. But then my thought process goes to maybe they don't have rights to show anything from it.
That could be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a thing for
because it's
sure.
not on Disney Plus. So maybe it's not that they just left it out. they literally don't have the rights
The rights
be able
to using that.
show
Yeah.
things from it.
That could be totally plausible. But you got them together. You got them hanging out. I really enjoyed that. Now let me get into what I didn't like. So, and understand this. I love the character Jennifer Walters. I thought the actress's name, Tatiana, is that her name? Maslany,
think so.
Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah.
I thought she was a great pick for this role. I thought she was phenomenal. My issue lies more so with Smart Hulk. And I just personally feel that Smart Hulk is kind of being slowly but surely degraded as the Hulk a little bit so that he can make sense for this kind of show. Maybe it's a different kind of thing. Maybe it's like a Daredevil situation. They're talking about just a lighter tone. BC, is that what you're thinking? Is that what you're going to tell me? Like, hey, this is the Daredevil thing. They're not going to make him as dark and brooding in this. They're going to make him more lighthearted.
Exactly. I think this is more of a we need to fit him into this tone, and so that's what they've done. They've shaped him a little bit to fit this tone of this show. And I think honestly, because I had some issues in it too. I was like, why is this taking so? But then I started thinking. I looked at the scene where he tosses the rock, and then she throws it further, and he's like, all right. And he picks one up and hurls it into space. And she's like, "Oh, I can't do that." And
show you how it's done.
And you said before the show, she does the hand clap better than him. I didn't get that. I got that she couldn't do it as good as him, so she had to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. And so it was making more of a sound wave rather than a crushing blow,
thunderclap,
which is what the thunderclap. Yeah. It's making more of a sound wave.
So you're saying that she's actually learning it, but putting her own twist on what would be. So with him, his is a crushing blow, whereas hers is more of a supersonic, real quick wave.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that takes it back to the Incredible Hulk when Thunderbolt Ross had those giant sound cannons to control the Hulk, and they were working.
Yeah.
That's why you see Hulk going down, crawling like that. Because he knows that feeling, so that's where I don't think they nerfed the Hulk. And you're saying Hulk should whoop her ass very easily. Look, I have gotten a lot of fights with my younger cousins. All right. I pull my punches every single time. Every single time I pull those punches like a mug. And this ain't Rage Hulk.
What I said was he shouldn't have lost to that Jeep that bad. It was,
but at the same time,
the Jeep.
If he smashes that Jeep, well, now they don't have a Jeep to get home. So Hulk is in control of his anger right now.
Here's where I got to push back on that. The car was going at 0 mile. It was a stopped vehicle. It has to accelerate. This is just physics. It has to accelerate. The Hulk is strong enough to just put his hand on the hood and keep it right there.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to go with.
And instead, she can run through the Hulk and knock him back into a boulder. He can just keep his hand right there. Now, it's different if that truck was already going at 100 miles an hour. But this truck was going from 0 miles an hour. He can just put the hand on it. You can try to accelerate. You're not going nowhere. That was my issue.
I look at it as a suspension of disbelief at the time, because if not, that's a very boring fight. If he just puts his hand on it and holds her, just holds her head away while she's swinging, I'm
talking about the Jeep. I'm talking about the car. The car.
I know, but that again, if he just puts his hand on the Jeep.
It's about the fact that the Hulk in the MCU has punched a giant ass Thanos lizard monster in the middle of the street without moving 10 feet. That monster thing. He moved 10 feet. The Chitauri lizard monster thing.
There you go.
He moved 10 feet when that happened. But the Jeep can throw him back 40 feet from zero acceleration. That is my frustration. Huh?
Maybe he's not prepping for the Jeep. He was prepped for the Chitauri.
You're not giving me a reason why it worked.
suspension of the script said it needed to work.
There you go. And that's the thing. It's the writing.
Plot
it's
armor.
the plot armor. It's the plot armor, and that's what I'm saying. And to me, that shows a little bit of chipping away at that character. To me, that's what I see. I did not want to see the Hulk come up. See, I didn't want to, and it's the same thing with wrestling. You know, sometimes you have to have to win the new guy over. One of the guys that everyone loves is a jobber for this person, just to see how strong. And I thought that the Hulk was a jobber.
You saying they Mark Henry'd him?
A little bit.
They big showed him?
A little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying with that, but that's where I'm at.
I get it.
Yeah.
I had those feelings going through it.
But look at it with the Daredevil lens of that's what they're doing. I can do that. I can suspend my disbelief with it. But if they don't redeem Hulk later on, I'm gonna be pissed. I think you agree with me. They have to redeem Hulk.
What do you think? Listening to us argue this, how do you see it as someone who hasn't actually seen the episode yet?
Lilah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I thought you were talking to Lando.
Oh, no. As someone who hasn't actually seen the episode yet, what do you think of this, of between our different positions from an outward opinion, someone who hasn't seen it yet, what side do you think you'd fall on here? Just straight up reaction of just hearing about it.
As a Hulk enthusiast, I could see where Lando is coming from, being like, why is he so weak? But also, as a Hulk enthusiast, I can get why he's weak. Maybe because I bet he was holding back. He probably is holding back because he's got more years and experience as the Hulk than she does. He knows how to control himself. So he's probably like, oh, a fucking Jeep. Okay, whatever. I'll let it hit me. He could overpower her if he wanted to, but he's just not because the Hulk is a good person. The Hulk is a good man. So I'm more leaning towards
objection, speculation.
The Hulk is a good man. Hey, Bruce Banner is a good man.
Hey, he pulls a dick move in this, and you'll see it, and it's called out, and I loved it. Other than that, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I loved the backstory a little bit. It showed us the 5 years between in the blip with him and Tony Stark.
That was very interesting.
That was very interesting. And then, you know what? I saw a picture, and I wish I would have pulled it up. There's actually a scene in Avengers Age of Ultron where Tony Stark is talking. I love
that movie.
Where Tony Stark is talking to Bruce, and he says, hey, how about instead of you turn into like a Nova's Green Rage monster or whatever, you go to the beach and sip Mai Tais, margaritas on the beach, and turn brown instead of turning green.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now that I heard that, this now makes a whole lot more sense for me. And I love the Hulk on the beach. I love that he has his own bar. I love that's his hangout spot. That's where he goes to relax. I love all of that. That was just the Jeep was my only real issue with this show. It was just the Jeep. I had an issue with the Jeep. Not an issue with everything else, but I thought that everything about this show was great. I love the attorneys. I love her paralegal that works with her. I thought that she's going to add a nice element to her, to this show. I can't wait to see where this show is going to go. I thought the show was very funny. I thought the breaking of the fourth wall worked very well. I'm glad it wasn't overutilized for the first episode. I believe she did it twice or 3 times, I believe. I thought it was solid.
Exactly.
The song choice at the end with Eve. Bruh. I love the music choice. I thought it was solid.
You know what was funny is as soon as like the next day I saw that song on TikTok, I saw it on Instagram. I was like, I'm so glad that y'all are finding Eve now. Because Eve is like the standard bearer of female rappers. Like she is number freaking 1. And I love that a new generation is now gonna find
Rough Riders. Well,
I used to have a Rough Rider chain, bro. Like no BS. I had a legit hanging double R. I was like Rough Riders.
DMX, and this is not a game. I had DMX for a long time, like in my top 3 favorite rappers.
He's definitely in my top 5, probably top 5.
Bro, DMX. Lilah, what's your favorite DMX song?
I don't know DMX like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
When was DMX?
Party Up. Everyone knows Party Up. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here.
Okay,
Up
okay,
in here.
okay.
Y'all gonna make
I know that one.
go all out.
I was like, guys, I'm 23. I was born in 1998.
He dropped an album in
I know
That's
1998.
not true. That's not true.
He
You were
dropped,
actually
like-
born
Oh,
in
so when I was, like-
1989.
It was 1999.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know people that were born in the 90s. So you were actually born at on December 31st.
I was born in late 90s too.
I was
at
born in 92, cuz.
11:59. No, you weren't. You were also born on December 31st at 11:59, 1989.
I was
That's
in
a
my
true story.
I was in
That's
my
just-
daddy's
that's just-
ball sack.
No.
Yeah.
You were
Ew,
born.
no.
Yeah.
Everyone I know and I communicate and hang out with were born in the 80s. That's a true story.
Oh man, but no, I love the show, man. I'm looking forward to it. So far, I'm at a solid B plus.
So
Solid B plus.
one of my buddies told me that there's a joke in the next episode that is the best joke in the entire MCU, which I think will be very hard to top. Captain America Fox.
Captain
But-
America Fox was solid.
That if the rest of the show has jokes like that one, this could overtake Hawkeye as my favorite show.
I don't know. This also has nothing to do with the MCU. My favorite joke of the year so far is still that joke from The Boys. Bill Cosby makes a really strong drink.
Yep, that was a good one.
That's still my favorite joke from
Boys are funny.
this year. Huh?
I started watching The Boys because of y'all.
There you
Oh,
go.
yay.
There you go. Well, guys, there you have it. That's been our rundown of She-Hulk episode 1. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, tough. Sucks. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did too. We'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about everything we talked about today. This has been the Lando Project. Miss Lilah, what's up?
Lando, before we jump
I-
out of here,
Yes.
we jump out, let's talk. Let's see. Do you think we want to possibly go live after House of the Dragon tonight?
Are you trying to get me on the record?
I
Yeah.
am. I'm trying to say that and let the audience know there's a possibility.
There is a
that we're
possibility
thinking
that
about.
we will. There's a possibility we're going to try to do a House of Dragons post-show recap. I guess we're going to say it. Post-show
Something like
recap.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, are we going to make a spoilery? I only like to do things if it's spoiler talk, bro.
Obviously, right
Spoiler
after
talk.
it airs, we go live.
Oh, yeah.
If it's spoiler talk, I'm in for it. If it's spoiler talk, I'm there. Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, let's do
It
it.
doesn't have to be. I don't think we have to be anything wrong, and I'm perfectly fine. And Lilah, if you're free, you're welcome to come on too. You know,
You don't
I
have
mean,
to.
it's gonna be late. It's gonna.
You
be
should
late,
watch it though. And by the way, guys, I want
I
you
would
guys to
definitely
know,
watch it.
Lila knew we were talking about She-Hulk. So the
I
fact that
did.
she didn't watch it, that's on her. Okay.
I did, but I was so busy, guys, editing and working on this channel because Lando pays me to do that. But I was working really hard editing
But
these
see, look,
videos
Lando,
and putting them
Lando
out.
over there. Lando over there mocking her, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was my fault because my video was such a mess.
Oh my
Hey,
god!
speaking of which, guys, if you guys haven't seen, please check out the Rewind Recast. There's going to be a playlist on the video where BC is looking at some old movies and he's recasting for the current day status. He's making it live. He's making it today. He's got a lot of good
Yes,
stuff over
sir.
there.
And also to bail out Lilah, I knew we were talking about day shift today. Originally on the script on the schedule, we were going to
BC,
talk about day shift, and I didn't watch it.
Jesus Christ.
My
BC,
friend
but-
worked. My friend worked on it, and I still haven't watched it. I feel so bad.
well, BC, I was trying to plug the Rewind Recast.
I know. I was just trying to help
Do
out.
that.
Lilah. Look, I'm on.
What-
Look, Lilah's my editor. I gotta always
He's on my
back her up
team.
because she makes me look super pretty.
Hmm
Sure, but what do you have coming out this week for the Rewind Recast?
Well, right now, since Beast is in theater, I decided I needed to do another Lion Attack movie, so I did The Ghost in the Darkness with Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas, which I remember being awesome. Guess what? It's not.
And guys, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out my ranking of the Predator movies that came out last week as well.
Terrible.
It was
Do it.
awesome. It's fantastic.
No, I did that really well.
Greatest
It's
video.
great.
Oh
on-
no, the video was fantastic. His rankings were wrong.
I would love to hear
Oh,
your
yeah.
thoughts. Well, Miss Lilah, we thank you so much for joining us and also sitting through the last half of our spoiler talk. But we really enjoy you being here. You're the best. Where can people find you?
Boys, I'll always be here. You can find me at Lilability with 2 Y's at the end on TikTok and Instagram. But you can also find me at Lilahs on Twitter. I don't really post there, but you can find me there. And I have great news. I'm able to go part-time now, so I will be a lot happier. And that's really all I have to
That's all
say.
that matters.
I'm very excited. Yeah,
I am
all that
happy
matters.
for your happiness. I am happy for your
I love
happiness.
that Lando got the 2 Y's correct this time down there on the
Me
name.
too.
I do
Me
work
too.
sometimes, but I do, you know.
And I'm so proud of that ad. It's so creative of me. Lilability, like liability. I like mansplain that for y'all, but like I'm so proud of it.
Toxic.
It's a good ad. It's a good ad.
BC, where can people find you, buddy?
And Lando does do great
BC,
work.
where can people find you?
Lilah's the captain, Lando's the co-captain right under there. And me, I'm somewhere on the bench, but you can come find all my bench antics at the Grind Calls on all social medias, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Someday I'm going to wake up on time and actually make it to our pre-production meeting. It was not today. Maybe it'll be next week.
Well, and also someday we're going to have a stream